Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on LA56.
A late season storm is moving through Southern California, bringing rain, even snow.
Where is that storm right now, and what can you expect for the morning commute? We're on Storm Track.
Storm arrives as officials blast Californians for the worst month for conservation efforts in 9 months. Now the new plan to ration water. Good evening, I'm Ellen Leyva.
I'm Mark Brown. David and Colleen are off tonight. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And we're on Storm Track. We have live Storm Track team coverage, including Leanne Suter live in Santa Clarita. Let's begin with meteorologist Jonathan Novak tracking the storm with the live Megadoppler 7000 HD.
Yeah, Mark, folks, as advertised, showers around Southern California and snow, too. That live Megadoppler 7000 HD, let's put it up there on the board and show you that we have got some snow right now around Wrightwood. And south of there, some shower activity that is pretty much blanketing anywhere from Glendora down southwest all the way to the coast from Santa Monica down south to Long Beach. And, in fact, there's a pocket of very heavy rainfall right now we'll zoom in on around Lakewood that's moving from about west to east 20 miles an hour or so. So if you are around Cerritos, Hawaiian Gardens down to Los Alamitos, you're going to be seeing that in about, I would say, a half hour or so, and that's going to be bringing some heavier activity. Aside from that, it's generally been light to moderate. I've seen some rainfall totals around 0.2 to 1/4 inch around Oxnard and Ventura. The highest totals I've seen so far have been up in Santa Maria, 0.6. Lake Elsinore, some light rain just to the west of you, and let's head up to the northern counties, and we can see things are starting to dry out a little bit already. Some light snow to the west of Frazier Park. Dry around Fillmore and Ojai, though, but Santa Clarita getting a little bit of a light shower just east of your area. For tonight, the shower activity will continue to move to the southeast into portions of Riverside and San Bernardino counties. I'll tell you what happens after that for your morning commute tomorrow. It looks like we may see a little bit of rain before things will start drying out. I have details on the full forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Santa Clarita is one of the areas that has already seen some rain this afternoon. That's where we find Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter. Live, we'll have a look at conditions there. Leanne?
Ellen, the rain was pretty light here in Santa Clarita. No heavy downpours, and it appears at this point it is done for now. We can see the sun off to the west, but over my shoulder here you can see those clouds still remain over the mountains. Everyone we spoke to today say they're just grateful to get any rain we can.
A rare sight in Southern California as people pull out their umbrellas thanks to some welcome to wet weather.
I'm loving it. Every drop.
As much as I don't like it, I'm glad for it. We needed it, so I just hope it lasts longer.
Many hoping the storm will be bigger and last longer than predicted, given the state's severe drought.
I live up in the mountains where we really need snow. And if it piles up on the hills deeply enough, it leaches down through the summer, and that's what we need here.
Out on the roads, the rain made for a slow afternoon commute as conditions turned slick. The wet weather mixing with the oils on the road, creating a dangerous combination. And while some were prepared for the rain, others were caught off guard.
I thought it had a little bit of time, as you can see. Dallas told me 5 o'clock, but, you know, here it is, and it's 3 o'clock, and feel bad.
And even though the rain won't be enough to ease our drought, residents say they'll take whatever Mother Nature has to offer.
Oh, it's really dry this winter. Yeah, I think I only used my snowblower once this year, and that was in December.
Yes, it certainly has been a long time since they pulled out those snow blowers. Everybody hoping that maybe that will be the case this time around. It doesn't appear that is going to happen, but hey, everybody's got their fingers crossed. Everybody hoping to get more moisture and as much moisture as they can get. Live in Santa Clarita, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, thanks, Leanne. Strong bands of rain started whipping through Ventura early this afternoon, but the soggy weather didn't dampen the spirits of some folks who came out to enjoy the showers. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stalwart camped out there all day, talking to folks who are loving the rain.
Several brief downpours hit Ventura this afternoon. Rain came down heavy for several minutes at a time. We talked to some people who got caught in it. It wasn't long But when it came down hard, it came down hard. Did you get caught in it?
I got caught in it. I was walking out of an attorney's office, and it just opened up. I felt sorry for this little old lady. She was drenched.
Outside of the brief drenching, there has been a light shower. People we talked to are hoping for a lot more rain before this storm ends. Felix Cortez was hoping to finish his workout even before light rain came down.
I thought I had about a 55-minute window. I looked at the weather thing, and I was wrong. We do need some rain, and thankful we have some.
Here in Ventura, it looks like the worst of it is over, but the roads are still wet, so be careful out there driving. In Ventura, Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
All right. Thank you very much, Leo. And now to the local mountains. Folks there are hoping that this wintry storm will bring them some snow. The snow's falling fast, and well over a foot is expected by the time this weather system moves through the area. The video taken from Mammoth Mountain Ski Resort hopes the new dose of snow will extend the ski season a bit longer. And look at this. 3 funnel clouds were spotted around Sacramento County this afternoon as a strong storm blew through northern California. National Weather Service has not confirmed if the clouds touched down to the ground. There have been no reports of injuries or damage associated with the funnel clouds. Make sure you're ready for the rain. Download our free Mega Doppler weather app and put the power of the Mega Doppler right in your pocket. It's available in the App Store or Google Play. Just search all one word, Mega Doppler.
Well, the rain isn't going to do too much for the drought, certainly. The State Water Board says Californians reduced water use just 2.8% in February, making it the worst month for conservation efforts in 9 months. This news comes as the state braces for new water restrictions. Next week, the Metropolitan Water District is expected to vote on rationing imported water. That means if local water suppliers exceed their allocation, they will pay a lot higher prices for water. On average, overages could cost 4 times as much as their regular allocation. Count on Eyewitness News to help you beat the drought, and we would love to hear from you. So send us your questions, your concerns, your ideas, story ideas, pictures, take photos, videos, share it to us with the hashtag ABC7Drought.
Russian hackers recently tapped into the White House computer systems. According to U.S. officials, it's the same group of hackers who infiltrated the State Department. FBI, Secret Service, and U.S. intelligence agencies are all investigating. They say it is one of the most sophisticated attacks ever launched against U.S. government systems. Officials insist the hackers weren't able to get their hands on classified information, but they did have access to sensitive information, including non-public details of the president's schedule.
Family and friends of an 18-year-old stabbed to death in South L.A. are baffled why anyone would want to hurt him. The aspiring musician was attacked in the 800th block of West 101st Street. Eyewitness News reporter Sid Garcia has spoken to loved ones, and he has the latest on the search for the killer.
Mild-mannered, just a good kid. He was all-American. He was excellent, no problem.
Family and close friends of 18-year-old Tommy Cheatham still find it hard to believe he's gone. According to police, Cheatham got into an argument with somebody around 8:30 last night outside his South LA home. When his sister went to take the dog out for a walk around 9, she discovered Tommy on the ground, bleeding. Police say he died at the scene from multiple stab wounds. Detectives don't have much to go on as far as the suspect is concerned. Tommy was a freshman at El Camino College. He was studying music.
That's what his major was. I just asked him a couple of days ago, like, what are you majoring in? And he was like, music.
He just liked it, period. Everything about it, you know, and you could control it, I guess. And he played several different instruments.
His family says he enjoyed playing all types of music. His favorite instrument, the piano. His dream was to complete his studies at UCLA and work on a career as a musician, playing piano and keyboards. Cheatham's family and police are asking for your help in finding the person responsible for his murder.
His family loved him deeply, friends, hosts of family and friends. He grew up in this house, and he didn't deserve this, just like anybody else. This is everybody's kid.
If you have any information on what happened to Tommy Cheatham, you're urged to contact the LAPD at the toll-free number you see on your screen. It's 877-LAPD 24/7. Reporting from South Los Angeles, I'm Sid Garcia, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A judge has dismissed the jury after the first day of deliberations in the Boston Marathon bombing trial. They were sent home after more than 7 hours of deliberations without yet reaching a verdict. Jurors had some questions for the judge, who said he would answer them tomorrow morning. The jury is considering 30 charges against Johar Tsarnaev. If he's convicted, jurors will decide whether he should be sentenced to death or receive life in prison.
And jurors have begun deliberations in the Aaron Hernandez murder trial, but not before a shocking revelation during closing arguments. The defense acknowledged for the first time Hernandez witnessed the killing of Odin Lloyd. His attorney said his client didn't know what to do and made poor choices afterwards, but insisted that Hernandez is not guilty of murder.
He was a 23-year-old kid who had witnessed something. A shocking killing committed by somebody he knew.
Sultan said Hernandez's co-defendants, Ernest Wallace and Carlos Ortiz, are guilty of the murder. Prosecutors argue Hernandez killed Lloyd, then helped his friends flee.
Much more on our wet, cold spring storm straight ahead.
Meteorologist Jonathan Novak is tracking it all with the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. His complete forecast is next.
Plus, a police officer facing murder charges. He was caught on camera firing at a man who was running away.
And an incredible survival story. Rescuers find a boy missing for days in the forest. Why they say it's even more of a miracle.
Song lyrics sold for more than $1 million. I'm George Pinocchio, the 70s song that had people bidding in tonight's Hollywood Wrap. Plus, it's the statue that has fans all riled up. Now there's resolution on the way. The pall over this Lucille Ball. Next.
Chilling video obtained by ABC News today shows a South Carolina police officer opening fire on a man running away. Now word that police officer will be charged with murder. A warning, the video is graphic and could be disturbing to some. ABC's Steve Osensami has the story.
Black male, green shirt, move it.
Oh yes, Northern emergency status, Jason on foot.
This video obtained by ABC News is chilling, and tonight even city authorities are stunned. Listen for the moment when North Charleston patrolman Michael Slager shoots and kills 50-year-old Walter Scott. In the video, Scott is clearly running away from the officer with his back turned.
Gunshot wound to the left side, to the back. One left side to the buttocks. Always want this.
The confrontation started after the officer pulled him over for a broken taillight. Police say the victim fled down the street and into this field behind a pawn shop where Officer Slager fired 8 times. Scott's family tonight, heartbroken and pleading that this black life should matter.
He needs to know that that wasn't an animal that he killed. He was my son.
Late today, with this new video in their hands, police responded, charging the officer.
I can tell you that as the result of that video and the bad decision made by our officer, he will be charged with murder.
If convicted, Slager could be sentenced to the death penalty. Police say the arguing began when Slager discovered Scott had an outstanding warrant for child support issues. In the police report and over the radio, Slager says Scott took his taser and that he was worried for his safety.
Just got shots fired. Subject is down. You grab my taser.
But in the video, it's not clear if Scott took the stun gun or was running after being hit by it, with the cord still attached. Officer Slager is later seen handing over his weapon to another officer at the scene, standard procedure after a shooting. Police, who seemed quite emotional tonight, say this one officer doesn't represent them all.
I think that all of these police officers on this force, men and women, are like my children. So you tell me how a father would react to seeing this child do something.
In a world where there's a camera in every pocket, we asked authorities here whether this officer would have been arrested had they never seen the video, and they told us that the video shared the true story. Steve Osenzami, ABC News, North Charleston, South Carolina.
An incredible rescue in Australia. Cameras were rolling as a boy lost in the dense forest for days was found alive. This video from a rescue helicopter shows the moment they spotted 11-year-old Luke Shambrook sitting alone in the woods with nothing to eat or drink. Rescuers slid down an embankment to get to him. The boy, who has autism, wandered off from his parents' camp and spent 4 nights alone in the cold. His family and rescuers call it a miracle.
We've been overwhelmed by the response, and we're very thankful that we live in a society that puts a lot of effort into finding children who go missing.
For us to find him in the condition he was is just amazing.
Luke was covered in that thermal blanket by rescuers to raise his body temperature with his parents by his side. Police say he suffered hypothermia, dehydration, and exhaustion, but that he is doing well now and he is expected to fully recover.
Well, while we're on the subject of miracles, we got a little bit of rain. Let's take it with Jonathan Novak.
Feels like it, right? A late season storm. You know, we're not getting a ton of rain here. About 0.2 of an inch I've found around Silver Lake, Manhattan Beach, Encino Hills, Oxnard, Ventura, all give or take a little bit, about 0.2 inches. Now, Santa Maria, you did, I saw, get to about 0.6, 0.6 of an inch of rain. That's on the high end, and that's up in the northern counties here as we look for our snow around Wrightwood and Mount Baldy. Still seeing snow there. We're going to actually see a live picture in just a moment from the mountains of snow just blowing around up there. It's pretty cool to see that this late in the game. Off to the south of that, some light to maybe some moderate rain. If you're on Inglewood, you're probably getting some, or you did get some downpours just recently around Hawthorne as well. You see where that yellow is right there. And right around Lakewood into Hawaiian Gardens, there was an area of stronger activity that has moved from the west to the east-southeast. And that's going to be moving towards Cypress and Los Alamitos here in the next 20 minutes. And that looks like it could bring some heavier downpours. But that's sort of the exception rather than the rule. The rule has generally been that light stuff here. Around Lake Elsinore, Costa Mesa, you're seeing a little bit of light rain as well, showing up on that live Mega Doppler 7000 HD. And up to the north, well, you had some rain, and it's starting to dry out. Fraser Park looks like we're getting one small reading there of potentially a little bit of light snow maybe still falling. Up to the north, definitely still snow around the High Sierra, and rain just to the west of that in the foothills. So that is good news for that portion of the state. They've definitely gotten a good deal of precipitation. Now for us, we're not looking at a lot more on top of what we already had. We've basically gotten through the brunt of it. At least we are right now getting to the tail end of the brunt of it. This is a live shot from the Angeles National Forest. This is just really cool to see that here in April. And the Malibu shot showing the rain and some of the fog. It looks like fog there in the foggy camera, or some low clouds there just hugging the hills there. So really nice to have some rain finally back in Southern California. Now, it's not going to last a long time. Once we get through tonight, I'd say around 2 a.m., we are done with this. And I think that's it for this 7 day. As far as any rain goes, we're going to start warming up. It's going to be beautiful. This is a cold front. Right here, you can actually make that line of showers and storms out very clearly delineated on the satellite and radar picture. So that's swinging through, and you can see right now just over or west of the LA County area, and that's going to move through tonight. The timing looks like this. This is at 8 p.m. I start you off. Notice the shower activity getting picked up pretty well by the model data right here as this area moves off to the east and the southeast. This is 10 p.m. I'm going to bring you through increments of a few hours here. 10 p.m. showing still some scattered activity, maybe even some light rain still around Santa Clarita, but that will be brief, if anything, showing up there. Wednesday, 1 a.m., the only rain I have here is down around Orange County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino County, and by 4 a.m., everybody is looking dry. Wednesday afternoon looks really nice. We're clearing it out, and we are going to warm up to about 67 on Wednesday afternoon. After that, 70s in the 7-day forecast for LA Metro and Orange County. We're at 74 for the weekend. Fair to partly cloudy, sunny next week, 75. Back to that same old story. Nice stuff here in Southern California. Just good weather. 67, partly sunny after some morning clouds in the valleys in the IE on Wednesday, and then really beautiful from Thursday on. Fantastic weather at the beach. This weekend looks nearing 70 degrees. Just a few clouds around. The mountains, it'll stay breezy behind that front. In the north-facing slopes, actually, you might get a morning sprinkle because of the wind flow bringing up any residual moisture in the area. 44 for a high. Tomorrow's cold, but you're back in the 50s by Thursday. The high desert, a little breezy for you as well. Cool, 62, but you're back in the 70s by Thursday. More weather coming up in a few minutes. We'll look at that radar again.
Okay, Jonathan, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Now for tonight's Hollywood Wrap, chart-topping singers will battle for Billboard dominance.
Plus $1 million day for a songwriter, and here's George Finocchio with all the details.
And it's a song that you know very well, I'm sure, from growing up like I do. It's one of the most iconic songs of the 1970s. And now the original handwritten lyrics have sold for more than $1 million. Don McLean's American Pie manuscript and notes went for $1.2 million at auction. Christie says two people were vying for the 16 pages of lyrics. The winning bidder asked to remain anonymous. On to the current music scene, where Taylor Swift and Sam Smith dominate today's Billboard Music Award nominations. Swift is on top of the nominee list, where she earned 14 nods in all. Smith has 13. The two are going head-to-head in many categories, including Top Artist. Also nominated in that category, Ariana Grande, One Direction, and Katy Perry. Celebrities are gearing up for the annual Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. The stars don't actually race until Saturday, April 18th, but today they have the chance to do a little press and take a few practice spins around the course. Several of the celebs have raced the streets of Long Beach in previous years, and taking it to the streets is very different from training in the desert.
Where we train, it's, again, you can spin out, and it's like, ooh, look at I'm spinning out. That's a little, the walls are daunting, so you certainly, you know, it's a challenge to kind of mentally overcome that, and because you don't want to hit, you know, you do want to finish the race.
The actual competitive race with the pro drivers is set for Sunday, April 19th. Finally, a much criticized statue honoring the late Lucille Ball near her childhood home is set to get a facelift. The 400-pound bronze statue unveiled in 2009 was dubbed Scary Lucy by critics, who say it bears little resemblance to the 1950s sitcom star. The mayor of Celeron, New York, now says he's collecting donations on Kickstarter to have its head redone. The original artist, who's recently received angry emails and even death threats, said he'd create a new statue for free, but the mayor declined the offer. Okay, as a lifelong Lucy fan, I could not look at that statue every day if I lived there.
I don't know what it looks like.
It's scary.
It is
Scary Lucy.
Scary Lucy. All right, George, thank you. Up next, the first court appearance for a suspected road rage shooter.
Plus, a pair of airline pilots grounded after their pre-flight cockpit brawl.
And Rand Paul throws his hat into the presidential ring. We'll have reaction to his combative announcement.
The suspected gunman wanted for a road rage shooting in Texas is behind bars today. 22-year-old Dietrich Evans appeared in a Houston court after being arrested yesterday. Charged with aggravated assault. The victim, Kay Hafford, says she honked at him weeks ago for cutting her off, and that's when detectives say he pulled up alongside her and fired a shot through her passenger window, grazing her in the head. A friend of the suspect led investigators to his apartment, and Hafford picked him out of a lineup. She says she could tell he was sorry and just hopes he gets help.
And 2 pilots have been grounded after getting into an alleged fight just minutes before a flight took off from India. According to the Times of India, the 2 pilots had a brawl inside the cockpit, all for pre-flight paperwork. The captain reportedly told his co-pilot to write down critical information like the number of passengers on board, weight, and fuel. Co-pilot took offense and reportedly beat up the captain. The Air India flight was delayed 10 minutes but still departed. Airline will conduct an investigation.
We are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30.
Including the latest on a cold, wet storm. What's next for our wild weather? Meteorologist Jonathan Novak is here with a look ahead.
Plus, a big data breach at this local university. The personal information of thousands of students could have been compromised. What you can do to protect yourself coming up.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 7:30. Some much-needed rain makes its way through Southern California. We're on storm track. I'm Mark Brown, in for David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva, in for Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And this is video out of Santa Clarita, where one of the many spots seeing some light showers today. Our local mountains are also getting some light snow. This storm, unfortunately, won't be enough to make a difference with the state's drought, though, and Jonathan Novak's here with a look ahead. Jonathan?
Yeah, that's kind of the frustrating thing. We get some rain, and it's just, we're so bad into this drought that it's really not going to even put, not even a small, tiny dent not even an imperceivable day. It's just not going to be too much help. Let's look at the LAX shot here. This is around 4:30. You see some of the rain that moved in here at the beginning. This is the beginning of the time lapse right here. Some light rain, and that's sort of the operative word today. It's just light precipitation, light snow, light showers. Looking at the live Megadoppler 7000 HD, that's what you got. Some light snow around Wrightwood to Mount Baldy. Maybe even a little bit of moderate snow right here showing up, some of the latest readings. That is actually the latest reading. And then to the south of that, some light showers around Glendora, down through Pasadena. Now on the backside, the trailing edge here of this batch of showers through Los Angeles, Inglewood, and Redondo Beach. Some rain for you as well. Now, zoom in. There's been a pocket of heavier activity. Now around Cypress, it's falling apart, but you're probably getting a little bit of a downpour in that one spot. And then to the south of you, some small areas here of some light rain around Costa Mesa and just west of Lake Elsinore. Up to the north, you had some rain earlier, but that activity has since died off, and now we're not looking at anything on the scope. But overall, about 0.2 to 1/4 inch have fallen in the northern counties, and if you head up to Santa Barbara County, you might even find a little bit more than that, up to about 1/2 inch. So for tonight, we're going to be looking at more of this, some light snow in the mountains, some light rain around the area, but it'll be tapering off, I'd say, by about the early morning time. I'll tell you what happens after that. Details on what could be a cool forecast ahead for the short term coming up in a few minutes.
Jonathan, thank you very much. And you get the latest weather information anytime you want. Just download our free Megadoppler weather app. It's like having your own personal Dallas Rains or Jonathan Novak. Find it in the App Store or on Google Play. Just search all one word, Megadoppler.
It's better because you don't have to feed them. Tonight, harvesting the rain during the drought emergency. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell reports from Monrovia on what one homeowner is doing to make every drop of water count.
Comes from the roof down through here.
Using two 55-gallon containers, Scott Boyer collects rainwater that provides plenty of moisture for the trees and plants in his yard.
If we get a good rain tonight, which we're hoping for, and it better come, these will fill up like in maybe an hour at the most.
Scott says a massive amount of water flows from his roof when it rains. The barrel collection system cuts down on Scott's water use, and he says it's not complicated.
Put in a single rain gutter system. It drops to the first tank. When it fills up, transfer to the second tank. When that one fills up, we open up a valve, and we transfer the water to our fish ponds. We can dab out of that as well. So it gives us plenty of water for our projects around here without feeling too much guilt.
Sprinklers have never been used on the bright sunflowers in this garden at the LA County Arboretum.
These have not been watered, and we have this lush display of native wildflowers.
In fact, all of the plants growing here are getting moisture through the use of a variety of rain harvesting systems, including terracing and what's known as lasagna mulching, which captures rain and holds it in the soil.
Bioswale. This harvests water coming in off of the road.
Garden designer Lee Adams says she uses the same rain harvesting systems in her own yard and has drastically reduced her water use.
A water conservation strategy that works.
Scott says this system is working so well he'll probably expand it next year so he can collect even more water. In Monrovia, Amy Powell, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
New developments in the case of a real estate heir accused of murder in California. The attorney for Robert Durst says his client is willing to pay extradition costs to California, where he's accused of killing Susan Berman back in 2000. He says the deadline to extradite the 71-year-old Durst is coming next week. But Louisiana prosecutors say it can be delayed for another 2 months as Durst is facing a weapons charge in New Orleans. Another hearing in that case is set for Thursday.
Graduate students at UC Riverside are being warned about the potential for identity theft. Officials say a desktop containing Social Security numbers and other sensitive data was stolen from a campus office on March 13th. Nearly 8,000 grad students are at risk. The university admits the stolen desktop was not in line with its policy because it had not been encrypted.
You think like to be very protective. It was like that important with all those names in it.
And I'm sure that those people whose information was disseminated feel really uncomfortable. So I wish that there was more protection for that.
The university is apologizing, saying, quote, "We have taken steps to individually notify each person whose information could have been compromised. So far, there's no evidence the information has been used illegally."
Big push today from California legislators to reform immigration policy at the statewide level. But as usual, questions are being raised about funding, especially without help from the federal government. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson takes a closer look at the proposed bills.
The leading Democrats in the California legislature unveiled 10 different bills to help undocumented immigrants living in California.
California has grown into the greatest state in the nation and the world's 7th largest economy on the backs of settlers from all over this country and immigrants from many others.
One bill would allow undocumented immigrants to purchase health insurance under Covered California.
This is the right thing to do.
Others allow undocumented immigrants to apply for legal status if they're a crime victim, bans businesses from discriminating based on status, and establishes a new state agency to help immigrants.
It is not easy to pull together the support. Does it come with a cost? Yes.
Last year, similar bills failed to gain traction in Sacramento when Democratic advocates couldn't identify a way to pay the more than $1 billion price tag. In a statement, the Republican minority leader says they still haven't. Quote, "We encourage the bill's authors to make clear how they would fund these programs and identify any other programs that will suffer cutbacks as a result."
Today, our immigration system is broken.
For years, both Democratic President Barack Obama and his Republican predecessor, George W. Bush, have called on Congress to pass a federal comprehensive immigration reform bill.
The bill as amended is passed.
In 2013, the U.S. Senate actually passed a bipartisan bill, but House Speaker John Boehner has refused to bring that bill to a vote on the House floor.
D.C. would be doing something if it were easy. We intend to set the model. We intend to set the tone, as California always has.
Meanwhile, President Obama's recent executive action on immigration remains stalled in the courts. Remember, that would bring some relief to millions of undocumented immigrants. Governor Jerry Brown supports the action and has filed a friend of the court briefing on behalf of California in that case. Reporting from the newsroom, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul made it official, announcing he is running for the Republican presidential nomination.
I have a vision for America. I want to be part of a return to prosperity.
Paul delivered a fiery speech today where he laid out a vision pushing for dramatic cuts to the Pentagon budget and U.S. foreign aid, and rallied against U.S. military intervention overseas. But some Republicans say his views are just too far outside the mainstream, especially since he's also fiercely opposed to the NSA surveillance program.
Phone records of law-abiding citizens are none of their damn business.
Rand Paul is a relative newcomer in Washington, elected to the Senate in 2010 after winning his first ever campaign. He's the son of Ron Paul, a former member of Congress who also ran for president 3 times.
The post office unveiled its Maya Angelou Forever stamp today with a series of big events, including one with Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey. Turns out, though, the quote on the stamp was actually written by a different poet, not Maya Angelou. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride has the story.
1, 2, 3.
In Los Angeles, the U.S. Postal Service unveiled its new limited edition stamp honoring the late author and poet Maya Angelou.
Please use these stamps starting today on all your mail. Let them serve as a tribute to Dr. Angelou's life, career, and everything she stood for.
During the unveiling ceremony in Washington, D.C., the main lights went out when Oprah Winfrey was on stage because of an explosion at a nearby substation.
And if she were here, I could hear her saying, "Babe, pretty women wonder where my secret lies."
But there's some controversy about the quote featured on the stamp. It reads, "A bird doesn't sing because it has an answer, it sings because it has a song." It's been attributed to Angelou in connection with her memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. But author Joan Walsh Anglin tells the Washington Post that quote is from one of her poems. In a statement, the USPS says, quote, "The Postal Service was not aware of Joan Walsh Anglin's book, A Cup of Sun, written in 1967 with a very similar quote. It appears Ms. Anglin's poems and books have been cherished by many readers over the years." Postal customers say they're surprised by the disputed origin of the quote and with the post office going to print.
Making a stamp, you would know this information. You should have this information, do some digging on this information, make sure that's the appropriate quote from the appropriate person.
It's not the right quote. That does a disservice to her, and it doesn't teach our children anything.
The stamp has already been printed. The U.S. Postal Service says it has no plans to stop selling the stamp. In Glendale, Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Up next, the standoff you have to see to believe.
A mother trying to get her children back. She is in that van surrounded by a group of secretive community members. See how this all came to an end.
Plus, the mug shot of the day. What did this woman do to wind up behind bars? A highly charged standoff over child custody. A mother arrives to get her children but becomes trapped in her van by an angry crowd, a religious group that did not want to let those children go. The standoff lasted for hours. ABC's Dan Harris shows us how it came to an end.
This is what happened when a mother tried to retrieve her 4 children from a community dominated by the FLDS, fundamentalist Mormons who practice polygamy. That is Sabrina Tetzner right there in a van, swarmed by a crowd. The women in their traditional prairie dresses and updos. The FLDS is allegedly controlled by their imprisoned pedophile prophet Warren Jeffs. Tetzner left the group years ago and was recently awarded custody of her 4 children. But when she showed up in the remote desert community along the Utah-Arizona border that is the FLDS home base, the standoff lasted for hours until law enforcement reinforcements showed up with a search warrant.
Right on myself.
I recently made a trip to the community.
Can we just ask you a quick question?
In this exclusive interview, the former top lawman here told me the local cops would serve the church, not the people.
My job was to protect the church. Protect the church. Yes. What you're describing is a straight-up theocracy. Yes, absolutely. This community's always been a theocracy.
He is now cooperating with federal investigators who say the local governments here are controlled by the church, a charge these members of a local town council did not seem eager to discuss when I showed up uninvited at one of their meetings.
It's a pretty serious charge. I would think that you would want to answer it yourselves.
An attorney for the town council later insisted officials here do not take orders from the church. In the end, after an intervention from county sheriffs and even the FBI, Sabrina Tetzner drove off with her children. Dan Harris, ABC News, along the Utah-Arizona border.
We have a new entry in the category of worst mugshots, or best, depending on your point of view. Meet Linda McDonald, a Massachusetts woman who apparently thought it was a great idea to stick out her tongue for the camera. Kind of funny, but this is not. Police say she was driving drunk and on her phone and writing down directions when she crashed into a fence. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
It is expected to be a whopper of a wedding for an Illinois couple known as Burger King. Joel Berger and Ashley King are getting married this July in Jacksonville, just west of Springfield. Guess who's paying for their wedding? Yeah, Burger King. The couple was shocked to find out.
Burger King is going to pay for your wedding.
Really? Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much.
The pair announced their engagement this spring with a photo right outside a local Burger King restaurant. They've been known as Burger King since the 5th grade. Long-time romance, apparently.
So go back and check out that wedding. Can we expect a cold and rainy night ahead? Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast up next.
Plus, lost on the street, stray animals with nowhere to go. How one woman's love for animals has turned into a passion that's helping stray dogs and other pets find a new home.
But the Dodgers didn't expect to have a rain delay on their second game of the season. Here's Jonathan Novak.
It's a surprise.
30
right?
minutes.
Was it really 30
Yeah.
minutes? That's actually about how long most of the rain is lasting for a lot of. Well, maybe a little bit longer than that, actually. But that's interesting. I didn't know that. So it's cool. Hey, can't have a rain delay. Today it's April, and we're seeing showers. And we're not only seeing rain, we're seeing snow. Can you believe it? Live Megadopler 7000 HD. Snow showing up in Wrightwood, Mount Baldy. We were expecting that, of course, about 2 to 4 inches overall, maybe some isolated spots in the highest elevation seeing 6. Otherwise, it's been rain, light to moderate at most, except for a couple of spots I'll show you in a second. But we have some showers right here just skirting Malibu, and then all the way down from Inglewood over to Redondo Beach, down to Long Beach, and this extends up into the mountains too. Well, zooming in, a couple of pockets of heavier rain have developed here just the last few minutes. Long Beach, just north of you up to Signal Hill, and Cypress to Cerritos. There's some heavier rain just sort of holding on. Now, this isn't going to be heavy, but it'll be a little bit more of a downpour, relatively speaking, to what we're seeing elsewhere. So the Live Megadoppler 7000 HD picking up on some echoes around Mission Viejo and east, if any of that is actually making it down, which I think it probably is in the form of some sprinkles. The real heavy stuff, the heavier snow and the heavy rain is up in the High Sierra. They're seeing overall, when this is all said and done, 1 to 2 feet of snow, 1 to 2 inches of rain. For us, the rainfall totals haven't been very, as we say, impressive. About 0.2 of an inch around Oxnard, a little more than that in Ventura. 0.6 in Santa Maria. That was the most I've seen so far today. And these are all, again, so far. So we're going to hopefully add to those by the end of the night, because it should be wrapped up by the time we get through the early morning time. This is a Malibu time lapse. I got a couple here for you. Just want to show you some of the awesome images we've got from what we haven't seen in a while, clouds and rain. This is a downtown time lapse, and just look, it looks unreal to me. This looks fantastic. I love how the clouds are moving there in that time lapse. Just really cool to see that. All right, the almanac shows we had another cool day today. We're going to have another cool one tomorrow behind this front as it moves through. It's 57 in downtown. This is a cold front that we're seeing. So an area of low pressure is right here, and it's lifting up in a way. It's dragging this front through central and southern California. Now this front, as you can really make out here with the rain line, is right about there, moving through Ventura, LA County, and that should tonight pass on through our area and get the rain out of here by the early morning time. So I'll show you the time right here in the future rainfall forecast. This is 10 p.m. Still some light rain. It shows possible around Burbank to LA, down to Santa Ana, and then over toward Big Bear, some snow, maybe some rain around Riverside. Palm Springs might see a sprinkle. I don't know if it's really going to make it there, but we'll see some rain through about the 1, 2 a.m. time frame before things really wrap up by about 4 a.m. So after that, it's about the time the sun comes up. You guys are looking at nice dry conditions and a pretty good day overall as we head through Wednesday afternoon. In fact, temperatures by Thursday are back in the 70s. We've got sunshine around the whole area. It's going to be really nice from that point on. No more storm systems this go around. This one was kind of a nice treat, if you will, for the late season here, the rainy season. Valleys, IE for tomorrow, 67. Some clouds in the morning. We'll clear them out for the afternoon, and then 70s from Thursday on to the rest of the forecast. The beach, a little cool tomorrow, 63 for a high, but you're warming up near 70 by Thursday into the weekend. Mountains, watch out for some winds, and the north-facing slopes tomorrow morning might have the last of any sprinkles hanging on, and the high desert, breezy and cool tomorrow, but back in the 70s by Thursday. Dallas has more on the forecast, ABC7 at 11.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Going to do sports now. Tiger Woods hasn't won a major golf tournament in nearly 7 years after a 9-week absence. He's going to tee it up in round 1 of the Masters on Thursday. Tiger will be looking for his 5th win in Augusta, but the last time he put on the green jacket was 10 years ago. Tiger hasn't played since withdrawing from Torrey Pines with a stiff back in early February, a week after shooting an 82 at Phoenix. That was his worst round as a pro. He returns to Georgia ranked number 111 in the world. Can you imagine? Tiger says he's been working sun up to sundown to try to improve his game. At a news conference today, he talked about the areas he felt he needed to work on.
I felt like I wasn't hitting the ball as well as I needed to, or even chipping or putting as well. But I had to have all facets of my game come around, and they all have. And we spent a lot of time, a lot of work on this, and it's finally paid off. My greatest motivation? Winning. I like it.
Winning. I like it. So does this guy, Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's an all-star on the court, and today off the court as well. The losing her high school standout surprised single mom Kirsten Gonzalez with a new ride. Sunbeam Family Services helped Westbrook's foundation find a family who would benefit most from receiving a new vehicle.
She's in the process of graduating this year, and I think when you see somebody working hard towards a goal and finding ways every day to kind of keep everything afloat for her two boys and her family. You can't do nothing but help them out.
I have no ways to say thank you or to even show the appreciation, but it's amazing.
Westbrook donated the vehicle he won for being named the NBA's All-Star Game MVP.
She works for the LA County Sheriff's Department, but in her spare time, she rescues stray dogs and other animals off the streets. Eyewitness News reporter Giovanna Lara introduces us to a woman who also helps these lost animals find a loving home.
For the last 3 years, 30-year-old Brittany Frazier has saved the lives of more than 100 animals. Blossom is among them.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of love and a lot of poop, but we love it. It's very rewarding and a lot of vet bills, but we make it work.
Frazier says she plucks them off the street, gets them medical care if they need it, and finds them homes.
Sometimes it takes about 2 weeks to find a home, and sometimes 2 years, but we just work on one life at a time.
But for Frazier, rescuing animals is a part-time job. Her real job is with the LA County Sheriff Department, working for the Parks Bureau, which gives her plenty of opportunity to come across lost and roaming strays.
Dogs and cats and a couple bunnies and a raccoon and a turtle and some other things.
And her passion for animals is rubbing off on others. Now co-workers are stepping in, alerting her when they see a stray instead of ignoring them as they may have done in the past. She married one of those co-workers who's now co-owner of Brick Animal Rescue, and her partner in crime, so to speak.
Whatever it takes, whether it's 6 in the morning or midnight, if there's a dog out there that needs our help, we're going to do it.
Laws prevent Frazier from keeping all the animals she rescues at home, so she boards some of them at the All-Star Pet Resort in Torrance.
She's always very happy and very giving and really has her eye on the prize on getting these dogs adopted. I don't want to be in a situation where I can't sleep at night, so I definitely focus on doing the right thing, and I always try to help them.
In Torrance, Giovanna Lara, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More news straight ahead here at 7:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. It looks like the eye of a storm, but we will show you what it looks like to free fall 10,000 feet. No Kardashian parking, the street signs popping up in LA. Of these stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Doris Place Elementary School has a new computer lab thanks to several companies that donated the equipment. The East Los Angeles school is high-performing but underfunded. An 8-year-old student submitted an essay that won the computer lab makeover. She explained how the students were hampered in learning computer skills, tutoring, and preparing for new standardized tests because their lab had outdated and malfunctioning equipment.
Good for them. Full steam ahead now. Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. We'll see you tomorrow night here at 7 o'clock right here on LA56. But for now, have a great night.
Good night.